We call them the EO6, we call them the PSM6, but who are they? I have come to know them over the last 15 years, as I've been to Sungai Siput, as I've been on the election campaigns, as Kumar's younger sister. I trailed him here and there and got to know many of his team. And I would like to share some of their talents and their commitment to the community. So if you will allow me, that is what I will do. The first one is Babu. Babu is the youngest of the whole PSM6. His activism came from exposure he received when his parents were involved in the Kampong Chopo urban settler struggle. As a teenager, he started a youth network among the children in families in Kampong Chopo. He later helped establish the A Legal Youth Front. A Legal is a grassroots organization serving the needs of the poor and the marginalized. And now Babu helps out at the PSM branch in Bersih. Babu organizes youth activities, camps, football leagues, exam seminars, study trips. All this is aimed at keeping youth away from social ills and at the same time introducing them to community work. He works part-time at a tuition center to help support his family and was studying part-time to become a lawyer when he was arrested. Chon is 31 years old, a science graduate from USM. He is known to many of us as the ex-coordinator of Swaram in Penang. And we usually see him riding around on his motorcycle, scruffy jeans, well, it depends whether they're scruffy or not, and always in a t-shirt which had human rights or some democracy theme on the t-shirt. It would never be a plain t-shirt. And this young man is an avid reader, and he writes very well too. He's a full-time worker with PSM, and he's totally committed to social justice. Now, Chon is generally very quiet and shy. He's not a man of many words in a general conversation. But once he gets behind a mic, there's no stopping him. And that's when we see his activism come alive. And Chon is also a wonderful singer. Then we have Leow in his 40s, who is married. He has 2 teenage children who are doing really well in school. Leow is the type of person who will help anyone in need. After he finished his secondary education, he became involved in an educational program for children in a Hewood plantation. And he soon became a tuition teacher and a community organizer. He joined A Legal and championed the cause of estate workers, factory workers, and farmers. He joined PSM in the late 90s and is currently the secretary of the Sungai Siput PSM branch. He is cheerful and has a subtle sense of humor. He gets teased a lot by the team. Saras is a wonderful community organizer. She has worked with plantation workers, urban pioneers, farmers, workers, educating them on their rights and empowering them to stand up for their rights. At the age of 17, she was part of the Young Christian Workers and later one of the founders of A Legal. She was also at one time very active in the women's movement. Saras is one of the founder members of Party Socialist Malaysia, and currently she is the Vice President of PSM. She stood for the State Assembly seat in Jelapang during the 2008 elections. Despite not winning, she services this constituency well. She has a huge heart and a generosity of spirit for the people. She is an amazing woman. Sugu is 50 years old. He's married to Pushpa and has 3 children. He has been actively involved in social work in the rubber estate since he was a teenager. He too has worked tirelessly for the rights of estate workers, housing rights, monthly income, land rights, farming rights for the farmers in Sungai Siput and the surrounding locations. In the mid-80s, he organized free tuition for primary school children in 5 estates in Sungai Siput. He is a part of Leow and is the Sungai Siput PSM branch chair. Sugu, like Chongkai, also has an ability to sing. So one sings loudly in Mandarin and one sings loudly in Tamil, and they sing really well. Kumar, what can I say? I think a lot has already been said about Kumar in the press, and there is no real need for me to describe my brother here. But these are just some pictures which show you some glimpses into the community work. He's standing in the mud there because they were digging, they were trying to build the foundation for a bridge in Orang Asli village. Okay. Since the 25th of June, the PSM team have been subjected to a series of wild allegations and lies, aided of course by certain mainstream press and the local TV. We have been through a week of waging war against the Agong with no weapons. We are still currently not sure whether we are communist or not. We could be resurrecting communist ideology, and of course the allegation of being the penggerak Bersih. The detention orders which Kumar signed stated that they were detained because, and I quote, "Kamu terlibat sebagai penggerak kepada pertubuhan tidak berdaftar Bersih yang telah menggerakkan kumpulan gabungan pilihan raya Bersih dan Adil Bersih 2 supaya orang ramai hadir perhimpunan Bersih 2 di KL." That is the allegation on his detention order. Of course, it goes on to say that the perhimpunan causes ketakutan dan kegentaran awam, serta boleh mengakibatkan gangguan terhadap kehidupan seharian, etc., etc. Okay? All I can say is that it is very clear to me where this orchestration of ketakutan and kegentaran awam is coming from. It is not coming from the PSM6, and it is definitely not coming from the Bersih Secretariat. For those of us who have been journeying with the PSM team through this entire episode, what we saw was a totally unnecessary show of force and might by the police. There was no need for such intimidation. During this time, I want to put on record that there were 3 lawyers, Agatha Fu, Karen Lim, and Lim Ka-cheng, Karen Lai, sorry, and Lim Ka-cheng, who helped us during this time. They were there for us.
Women as well. Women.
Ah, yes, they were women, yes. Try not to overplay that. And what of the courts? The initial EO was served on the 2nd of July. The way this happened was that we were all rushing. We had spent the whole day in court waiting for the detainees to finish their 7 days of remand, and we were told that you come back to court at 2 o'clock and they would be charged. And so, you know, we went from Kepala Batas to the courts. When we were at the courts, we were told that the team of 6 had been rearrested. And so after some discussion and argument and pressurizing, we were able to get 15 minutes to be with them before they were taken off to Bukit Aman. And when we went to see the 6 of them, I must say that they were very spirited. They were not frightened. They had done nothing wrong. And I must say some of the policemen actually looked a little bit embarrassed. With their heads held high, they were handcuffed and they were taken to KL. When they were taken out of the police station, they were put in the back seat. 1 person in 1 car, so Kumar sat in the back seat. He's sandwiched between 2 people, 2 police officers on either side, and of course the driver and another police officer in front. That is just for 1 EO detainee. And so they left in 2 convoys. The first convoy had 3 EO detainees, but they had more than 3 cars. They had about 6 cars. If you're looking at taxpayers' money, I was wondering why we have so many police officers here. If you know the PSM people and if you tell them, look, you have to come to Bukit Aman, all 6 would have taken the bus and gone. Alright, so this is what I mean by excessive force. And then there were the flashing blue lights and they rushed off at high speed. Who is chasing? Who is chasing? We were all standing there. Right, so anyway, the EO detention order was served on the 2nd of July. And despite the habeas corpus application being made on the 6th of July, the hearing date was set for the 21st of July. You know, I'm given to understand, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm given to understand that when you make a habeas corpus application, it should be heard soon after, not 2 weeks later. So anyway, when the 21st of July came, the case was postponed to August the 5th. So what this means is that the PSM-6 have now spent 25 days in solitary confinement with detention orders which make no sense. I want to share with you a little bit about the treatment the PSM-6 have received. We have got this information when family members, after the short visits we have with them, they tell us what the 6 of them have said. We are not sure where they are kept. We are not sure whether they are kept in Bukit Aman or whether they are kept elsewhere. We know that they are kept in solitary confinement. The cell Kumar is in is about 10 feet by 6 feet. Chonkai says his cell is 2 meters by 2.5 meters. So you figure out the meters and the feet. Okay? The cell is very warm. There's no ventilation, so there's no fan, there's no air conditioning. Okay? There is no window, so they cannot tell the time. They cannot see outside. A light is on all the while. In some of their cells, there's a one-way mirror. That means someone can look in, but you can't look out. It also means you have no privacy in your cell. When the PSM team are moved, when they come to see us or when they're taken for interrogation, we have been told that they are blindfolded and handcuffed when they are moved from the cell. They undergo long hours of interrogation, but I'm happy to say that it stops, it's like a 9 to 5 thing. So they're not interrogated into late at night, but it is enough. After breakfast, there's interrogation, there's a break for lunch, and then it carries on until tea time. Apparently, 1 or 2 of them have said that they have been subjected to a polygraph test. And I don't know what this means, and I can't ascertain the accuracy of the statement because I don't have access to them. There is no access to reading material. Kumar might get a little bit, maybe because he's an MP, but I'm not sure how the others are faring. There's no writing material for most of them. And visitations we have been limited to 15 minutes, and there's a huge police presence. And all the meetings are videotaped, recorded, in the presence of plainclothes police officers who seem to record everything.